Hi everybody, welcome to my channel today. My name is Donna and you have found me at Fancy Fiber Forum, where we love fancy fiber here. Today is December 1st. Welcome to December 2025. Countdown to Christmas. Thanksgiving is over and the year is almost over. Hard to believe. We all say it. Hard to believe. I wonder if the younger people feel like time is going as fast as we do. Those of us who are over 60. It just seems to be flying by. Oh, there's Goober in the background. Anyway, welcome. I hope you will stick around. If you're new, this channel is all about yarn, crochet, and knitting. Lately it's been knitting, and more knitting, because since learning how to knit this past April, I have just been obsessed with knitting. I just want to knit. I tell my friends, I don't know if I'll ever crochet again. I probably will. But for now, I just want to knit, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I'm thoroughly enjoying this craft and learning all the time. So today I have quite a few things because it's been a while since I've had a video. So I've got a lot to catch you up on, and I hope you'll stick around for it. I'll start out by saying we got some snow, our first snow of the winter season last night, or actually it started early this morning, and it's still coming down. It's very light. It's not a heavy snow. It looks to be kind of powdery, but I think so far we've gotten about 3 inches, and it's still coming. I think the forecast says it's supposed to stop sometime this afternoon. So say a prayer for my son coming home from work. Hopefully the roads have been plowed and sanded and salted. It's below freezing. So I hear the streets are pretty slick, and he needs to replace his tires. So hopefully he doesn't have any problem getting home, takes his time, and gets home safely. So, like I said, I have quite a few things to share. I have some finished objects, I have some whips, and I have some acquisitions to share with you, because it was Black Friday this past Friday, and this girl took advantage of Black Friday primarily at one location. Primarily. I took advantage of some Amazon Black Friday deals, just a couple. And then later in the afternoon, there was another local business that was having 20% off. So I went there, thanks to my son who told me about it. So we'll get to that in a moment. But let me go ahead and share my finished objects first. The first one I'm wearing, this is the Ross hat. When I started crocheting in 2022, everybody was talking about the Ross hat. And they didn't specify that it was a knit hat, so of course I had to look, and when I found out it was a knit hat, I thought, that's sad, I can't make it, this viral hat. So I decided I stumbled upon it recently, and I decided I would have a go at it. And I learned a lot from this hat. I made it with a 5-weight yarn, kind of on the thinner side. It was more like an Aran, I think. This was made with a authentic hand-dyed yarn from Hobby Lobby before the 5 weights went away in 2022. So I've had this yarn for a while, but it's a cool hat. I think I've should have used a smaller needle. I think I used a 5mm or 5.5. I might have used a 5.5mm. But it's a little, I don't know if it's supposed to be this stretchy, but I like it. I like it. And I think I went a little bit far in the body of it, because I don't know if it should have this point on the top. But anyway, it is finished and it's super cute. I'll probably keep it because I like this yarn. It's 100% superwash merino. One of the, like I said, one of the hand dyeds from Hobby Lobby before they went away. So got that helping me to stay warm today. The second finished object finally is socks that I knit for my grandson for Christmas. This was made, well, first of all, I'll tell you that this is just a plain vanilla sock. And in the interest of time, I just decided to make him a pair of shorties. So I did, how many rounds on the cuff? I want to say probably 20 or 25 rounds on the cuff. And then I did 3 rounds for the ankle. And then I started the heel. And then I decided at the end, his favorite color is purple. So I decided to give him a purple toe. Initially, I held 2 strands together. One, a really pretty royal purple, dark royal purple. And I knew that it wasn't a very strong yarn, so I held it with a secondary strand of yarn that was stronger. And I got tired of that at around the 6th round. I got really tired of struggling with the 2 strands. So I broke off the purple and just continued with the single strand that I actually dyed myself. And this is, you can kind of see where I changed. I stopped right here, and then the rest I dyed myself with an acid dye that I got from, what's that company name? I can't think of it off the top of my head. Anyway, I finished those off, and they match. I mean, they're the same length. So I finally got those finished. I'm so excited. So that does it for my finished objects. Hang on, I have to clear my throat. Okay, that came out of nowhere. So I told myself, excuse me, told myself just to take the pressure off me for Christmas. As long as I get my grandkids' items knitted before Christmas, I'm okay with that. If I don't get my daughter and her husband their socks done in time, I'm not going to sweat it. So I made a bit of a mistake somehow on my granddaughter's socks. And I didn't realize it till after I blocked the last 2 socks. I realized these are all different sizes. All 4 are different. How frustrating is that? And they're all finished and bound off and all that. So, you know, if I was gonna frog them, I'd have to cut into the toe and whatever. I may do that. I don't know. So, in the interest of time again, I decided that I would just start a new sock, make sure I take really good notes. I'm using the My Row Counter app. So I'm making sure that I count each and every round. And I decided just to do a rolled cuff shorty for her. So I started that, I think this past Sunday. No. I think I did start it yesterday morning. Did I? No. I may have started it Saturday. Today's Monday. So I like the rolled cuff. And I think I did quite a bit. 1.5 inches maybe for the rolled cuff. And then I decided that I would do a contrast heel. I didn't have an easy time with this heel at all. It's pretty. It's a royal purple. She'll love it. But when I got to finish it, to move on to the foot, when I did the final turn, the heel turn, and I went to go join back in the round, this yarn was on the other side. I considered just pulling it over, but I thought with a sock and in that particular spot, it could end up either catching her foot on the way in, or it could keep it from stretching as much as it should. So I opted not to do that. I didn't want to cut my yarn. I suppose I could have. I didn't want to. So instead, I turned the yarn to go back up the side of the heel flap where I picked up stitches. I went back up that side, around the top of the turn, and back down the other side and picked up those stitches. And then there was this yarn waiting for me. Well, I've got a lot of gaps, and I'm hoping that I can clean them up after I'm finished. Yeah, I've got a lot of gaps where that heel flap meets the rest of it. I'm hoping I can clean it up. For the next one, I know what to expect. I'll just add another row on the back of the heel turn. I'll go back. I'll go back on the heel turn instead of going back on the heel flap. I'll go on the top of the turn. I'll go back, and then I'll go down that side. And that was the other problem, because normally when you're coming up the second half of your heel flap, getting into the stitches is different. And the same was true here. Getting into those stitches to pick them up, I had to wrap my yarn. It took me a bit to figure it out, but I had to wrap my yarn a different way for me to pull that stitch through the side of that heel flap. So I had to wrap my yarn differently. It's hard to explain, but if you do socks, you know what I'm talking about. I had to wrap it differently to make it easier. So instead of wrapping around on the back, well, I can't explain it. It's just the opposite of how you'd wrap your yarn. It was opposite. So I got through all that, obviously. Now I'm working on the foot, and I decided to do the rye pattern on the top of the foot. And this is basically purl, switch back and forth between purl row and a knit row. Purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. That's the rye pattern. Just to add a little bit of pizzazz to an otherwise boring sock. So I think she'll like it. She'll like it more if they match and they're the same length and they fit the same. She's got an 8-inch foot, so I'll stop at about 6, which I think I'm about a 1/2 inch away from getting to 6 inches, and then I'll do the toe. I'm going to do the contrast toe, and the toe will be way easier than this heel. I need to watch some videos on doing the contrast heel with magic loop because it was challenging, to say the least. So I should have, I'm not going to say I will, I should have both of these done by Christmas. Hopefully I'll have enough time to knit my daughter and my son-in-law their socks. They're just going to be basic vanilla socks, I think. If I'm going to do anything fancy, it'll be for their birthdays or something. So, all right, so that's one whip. Another whip is a scarf. And the story on this scarf is I was going through my project bags in my craft room, and I came upon this scarf that I was going to frog because I had started it on my knitting machine, my Centro, and I must have dropped some stitches or something, and I was just going to frog it. This yarn did not like, or my machine did not like this yarn. So I took it off and I just stored it away. So I came upon it and I thought, now I know how to knit. I'm going to try to pick those stitches up and just knit the rest by hand. So that's what I'm doing. I had to guess on the needle size. For those of you who do Centro, what I think I should have gone a little bit bigger on my needles because these stitches look a lot tighter. I am using a 5.5, I think. Let's see what this says. No, this is a 6. And you can kind of see, I don't really care. It'll stretch out. So you can kind of see where the difference is. So maybe it's a 6.5 or a 7 on the Centro. It's just really loose. That Centro knitter is very loose. And I'm a tight knitter. So maybe it's not the issue with the needles. Maybe it's the knitter because I'm a tight knitter. But anyway, this I got from, I think, Michael's a long time ago. Like 2 years ago, year and a half ago, something like that. And green and purple are my 2 favorite colors. So when I saw this yarn, it had my name all over it. So anyway, I'm going to keep going until this is nearly gone. And I need to decide, do I want to bind off each edge or do I want to join them and do an infinity? I don't know what to do yet. If I decide to do an infinity, can you guys give me a suggestion on how I would join the 2 ends? Whether you give me a video link or something where I can join these 2 ends and make an infinity, or I'll just bind it off and it'll be just a regular scarf. But that's going to be really nice and warm. I really like that yarn. It's like a blown yarn. It's got the tube, you know, the polyester or acrylic tube, and then the fiber is blown into that tube. So there's that whip. And then I've got 2 more to show you. This one is my most recent. And I was enabled by my local yarn store, Knitcraft. They had this shawl on display, and I was admiring it along with a new friend of mine that I'll mention here after a bit. But it's called the Nairi, N-A-I-R-I shawl. And let me show you the picture. It's so pretty. Let me fold this. I don't want to give anything away. The Nairi. And Lori at Knitcraft just printed off 2 copies for me and my new friend, and I couldn't wait to start it. So this is as far as I've gotten. First time doing knit picots. Isn't that the cutest little edge? So now I'm working on the garter, which is going to continue to grow this way. And this section continues to stay the same, going this way. The garter grows, you know, this way. So you're working from one tip growing, decreasing to the other tip. And I will say it's a little challenging to get used to this pattern, but I've got it figured out. You just have to pay attention and follow the pattern. And I am using, do I have any more than, no. I am using a yarn that I got a bunch of from Temu. This is the alpaca cashmere from Temu. If you want to know more about this, go back and look at maybe 2 videos back, 2 or 3 videos back, and I shared my Temu haul, showed the label and all that. But because this is so soft, I wanted to make something with it quickly. And I purchased a mohair to go alongside it, not realizing when I bought the mohair that that's what I was going to be using it for. But I knew I had a color to match this. So this is, I don't think I've got the label. Or do I? Yeah, I do. Silk Hair Lasso from Lana Grassa. Silk Hair Lasso. And this is in color number 922. And it is 78% mohair, 14% silk, 4% polyamide, 4% polyester. So it's got like a shimmery strand in there, which is probably the polyester. And the polyamide is going to help add strength to the cashmere. What did I say? Alpaca. No, not alpaca. Cashmere. Alpaca cashmere. What did I just say it was? Oh, yeah. Alpaca cashmere. There's the label. I do have it. So I figured it needed some strength because it does break very easily. And this is supposed to be 58% cashmere, 37% alpaca, 5% anti-pilling fiber, which is probably polyamide or acrylic or nylon, something like that. So these two together are a perfect match, and it's going to make a beautiful shawl. So that's another whip that I have going, and I am using 4.5 millimeter needle. These are my new Svarter needles. Love them. Highly recommend them. So there's that. And then another whip I have going. This was another Start Itis pattern. Had to do it thanks to Kelsie. Is it Kelsie? Knit. What is her channel name? Gosh, I can't think of it right now. Anyway, she did a video showing her making the Sophie hood. And I thought, I'm just going to make a Sophie shawl. I'm going to buy the Sophie shawl pattern. That way I'll have the Sophie scarf, basically, because the shawl is just a longer version of the scarf. And I thought maybe I can figure out the hood just getting the shawl. But apparently the hood is quite different. So anyway, I started the shawl, and I'm using the same yarn that Kelsie did, and it is the KNC Wool Luxe in color Midnight. It's so pretty. That marker is to mark the right side of my work. But this is how far I've gotten. I'm almost to the point where, I think I'm almost to the point where I start decreasing. I think you have to have 66 stitches before you decrease. But this is going to make a really nice scarf shawl. Beautiful. And I've been wanting to do the Sophie for a long time. Even before I started knitting, I wanted to do the Sophie. And it's very easy. It's a very easy pattern, I would say. Very beginner friendly. And I am using, like I said, the KNC Superwash Wool Luxe that Joanne used to carry, and now Joanne is no more. It says it's a 2-weight. It's not a 2-weight. There's no way that's a 2-weight. I would say this is a 3-weight. It's not a 2. That's something that I've noticed with the KNC brand, is their classifications are usually off. Their sock yarn, they classify as a 2. There's no way that's a 2. Might be a heavy 1, but it's not a 2. It's fingering weight. It's for socks. So anyway, that is, I think that's going to be, I've got another whip in there, but I haven't touched it in a while, so I'm not even going to mention it. It's another shawl. No, it's a cowl. So that's it, I think, for my whips. That's it for my whips. So I'm going to move on to, let's see what we should talk about next. I will talk about, I guess I will talk about my visit to Knitcraft and share my haul from Knitcraft, which is a local yarn store here in Independence, Missouri. I had a great time. I had such a great time. I even sat and knitted for a while. I was there. They opened at 10. I was there a little after 10. Quite a few cars in the parking lot, which I knew there would be quite a bit. And I think I got home like around, I think I got home around 2. So I was there for quite a while. So it was an interesting visit, to say the least. But let me go ahead and share with you what I got at Knitcraft. They had 15% off all Malabrigo, which, for those of you who know me, know that that's my favorite yarn brand. Has been since 2022 when I started crocheting. So I did get some of that. You know what? I'm going to put this bag over here so I don't have to bend over to the floor. So let's start with, gosh, where should I start? Let's start with Malabrigo, shall we? So she has 2 Malabrigo varieties that she has on clearance. And on Black Friday, they were 75% off. One of those was the Malabrigo Finito. Which is basically a sock yarn. It's fingering weight. I got it in color Cereza. And this has 200 yards. It's a 50-gram hank. suggest using US needles 2 to 4, so 3 to 3.5 millimeter. So this is probably more like a sport weight. Excuse me, goodness. Let's see if I can find a loose strand here to show you. That borders on a fingering or a sport weight. You could use it as a sport weight, I suppose. But I think Ravelry classifies it as fingering. So I got the last of the Cereza, which was 3 hanks. And then I got 3 hanks of this color, Chispas, if that's how you say it. Chispas? Chispas. Malabrigo's in Peru, so you got to have, you know, kind of a Latin mentality when it comes to pronouncing their colorways. But isn't that pretty? That is really pretty. So I got 3 of those. So 600 yards of each of those colors. And then the other yarn that she had on clearance was the Makita, which if you know me, you know that is one of my favorites because I love single ply yarn. Makita was also 75% off. I got this for $5 and change. Normally Makita is like, how much is it normally? I don't know, but it's more than $5. I think it's even more than $10. So it was a heck of a deal. She didn't have very many colors. She had quite a bit of black. I don't know that I may go back another time and get some black. I don't know. But this is called Illusion. Illusion or Illusion. And it's just a bunch of colors. We've got some purples and some dark blues and some olivey greens and some gray. It's just beautiful. So I got 3 of those. 3 of those. And then I got 2 hanks of Rios, and Rios was 15% off. I would have liked more, because what do you do with just 2 hanks of Rios? Not a lot you can do with only 2. And this is 210 yards a piece, and in color Candom. You can kind of see the colors that I lean towards. These are kind of jewelry tones, purples and olives, blue. Gorgeous. Just that light from the window to my left is probably washing it out a little bit. Get out of the way. So, isn't that pretty? Oh, so pretty. And Rios is supposed to be a 4-weight. I wouldn't call it a 4-weight. I'd say it's more like a 3-weight. But that's how they classify it. Let's see. All right. And then, of course, I had to get some more Anzula Ava. And I cleared her out, I think, of all the gray that she had. She had 2 different grays. She had elephant, and she had, is it rhino? Elephant. Maybe I just got elephant. I guess I just got elephant. I guess I left the rhino. So I got 3 hanks of the Anzula Ava elephant, which is the darker gray of what she had left. This is just a really pretty silvery gray. I really like it. And I love the Ava. This is the sport version. And the fiber content is 80% superwash, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. So soft. I love this yarn. And eventually I will clear her out of everything she has because it's on clearance. And she gives me a wonderful deal on this yarn. So Lori, if you're watching, I appreciate you so much. You know, from somebody that's on a fixed income and just likes the 4-letter word sale. I really appreciate your help with that. All right, the last, no, I got 2 more to show you. I have had my eye on this for a while, but given the amount of yards you get, I didn't want to buy it. And I bought it thinking that it was further discounted because my understanding was everything in the store was on sale. It really wasn't, at least not from what I saw. This was on, okay, so Knitcraft is actually 2 stores in one. There's a Knitcraft side and there's an Angelica's side. Angelica's, she carries a lot more high-end yarn than Knitcraft does. And I saw this a long time ago and I wanted it, but it was $5 for 50 yards. And I thought that's really a bit much for only 50 yards of yarn in a 4-weight. So I picked up 2 because I didn't know if they were further discounted on Black Friday, and they weren't, but I got 2. And this is from Lorna's Laces, which is a really nice brand. And the fiber content is 70% Angora, 30% lamb's wool. I'm guessing it's Angora goat. I don't think it's Angora rabbit, but I suppose it could be. I should have asked. But it's super, super soft. And I thought I could use these to put in a hat or as a section in a scarf or a cowl. I don't know if I could get a fingerless mitt out of 50 yards. I don't know. But the color is called Vera. And here it is. Look at that fuzz. Lorna's Laces. And this is Angel. I don't know if you can read that. This facing camera does not autofocus. So I got 2, and there's fuchsia in there, and there's brown, and kind of a lighter beige, some green. There's some green in there. Isn't that pretty? That is so pretty. And super, super, super soft. Might be Angora rabbit. I have some Angora rabbit, and this kind of feels like it. So I got that. And then the last one I got, I have had my eye on this yarn for at least 2 years. The first time I saw it was from Crystal at Bag a Day. She showed it, and I thought, I have to have that someday. It's very expensive. Normally it's very expensive. But it is from Lane du Nord from Italy, and it's called Poema Glitter. This is the glitter version. This was 45% off. So I had to get it. It's the only opportunity that I would have to get. I only got 1 ball. It's over 600 yards, but it was my only opportunity to have this in my stash till next year. It's just beautiful. This is color number 602, I would have rather had, they have a red that's different shades of red. I would have rather had the red, but she only had 3 colors. She had this one, and then she had the blue version, and then she had, what was the other one? Green. She had the blue with different shades of blue, and then she had a green that had green and like a greenish yellow. I wasn't that fond of some of the greens in there, so I didn't get that. So I went ahead and I almost got the blue. I almost went with the blue, but I'm glad I decided on this. But isn't that beautiful? Oh, so beautiful. And it is, 656 yards, 150 grams, 95% mulesing free, so cruelty free wool, and it's single ply, which you know I love. Single ply with a gold polyamide glitter strand running through it. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. This is normally $44. And I guess for 650 yards, that's not bad. I would say this is probably, I think Ravelry says it's a fingering weight. So I'm going to go with that. But it goes from thick to thin. So normally $44. I could never pull the trigger on that. So when I saw that it was 45% off, I had to have one. So I usually don't spend that much on one thing of yarn, but I won't ever get it any cheaper than that. Like $24. I think it was like $24. I'll never get it any cheaper. So I had to get that. So that is my haul from Knitcraft. And then, like I said, I went to another local store, thanks to my son. He was going to, it's a place called, I always want to call it Bargain something, but it's not. It's Cargo Largo. I don't know if there's any other Cargo Largos in the country. I think ours might be the only one. And it's basically, all they do is sell overstock or damaged. They'll get in a damaged box. But it's usually really good, very good deals. They have everything from food to clothing. Some of you might have stores that are similar to that, but this place is huge. It's like a warehouse size, huge, very big building. Actually, they overgrew the space that they were in before and built a whole new building that was probably 3 times the size, square footage wise, of their previous building. So talk about growth. But they have everything. They basically have everything and anything that you would want. They don't have produce, but they do have prepackaged food. They have gardening stuff. They have automotive. They have electronics, clothing, and they have arts and crafts. So when my son went, he said, I'm going here, because I knew he had something else in mind to get. I said, can you stop over and look in the aisle where they have the yarn? I've gotten yarn from there before. Sometimes it's a good deal, sometimes it's not. So he went over there and he called me with what he found. And I told him to send me some pictures because he told me what the fiber content was, which was silk. Well, there are lots of different kinds of silk. some silk feels like cotton. And I didn't know whether I really wanted that. So he sent me pictures, told me it's very soft. So I said, grab me some. He kept explaining the different kinds that were there. I said, just grab me some of what, you know what I like. Grab me some of what you think I would like. So we did. And I ended up liking what he got. So I went back and got more because I wanted to see for myself what was there. Well, this is what I got. And there's more on the table in front of me. And everything was 20% off. So these were, for the most part, most of them, these were $2 a piece. Then they had these other different kinds that were $1.50 each. So these are micro minis. They had two different brands. One brand is Planet Earth Fiber. PlanetEarthFiber.com. I have not been to their website to see what they have, but I did look it up on Ravelry. And yeah, there are different varieties. This one is Pepper Pot. It is 100% Pepper Pot silk, 100% silk, and they had only black in the Pepper Pot, and these are 30 yards a piece. This is really nice. This is fingering weight silk, 100% silk yarn, 30 grams. So I got quite a few of the black. And then these, I don't know, I think this is mulberry silk. It just says silk. This is also Planet Earth Fiber. It says 100% silk. Doesn't say what kind of silk. These are 30 yards. Let's see, these were, what did I say? 30 yards. Those are also 30 yards. But this silk feels different. This is much slicker. So they had this colorway called Dusk. This is Dusk. So it's a really pretty silvery gray. And then they had this other color called Wheat. And it's like a golden cream color. So pretty. So I got a bunch of that. A bunch. Whole lot. And they had these little bins just full of this yarn. They had another kind that I really didn't care for because it was very loosely plied. It was also 100% silk. I just thought it was going to be really splitty, so I didn't get it. My son brought me one because I told him, get me one so I can see what it looks like. And they had more of it in different colors, but I didn't want it because it was just splitty. Okay, and then they had this other brand, which was Kelborn Woolens, which I'm familiar with. I had some Kelborn Woolens camper, which I sold not long ago. But they did have some, I got all of what they had. Let's see, any more colors? Oh, I guess I did get a second one. Silk ply embroidery. Okay, so here's the one I was mentioning that I told you my son brought me. This is also 100% silk. It's 14 yards. 3 ply, says 3 ply for 18 mesh, 8 ply for 13 mesh. But on the label, it says embroidery. But as you can see, it's got these strands that just splay out. So I thought that's not going to be fun to work with. So I didn't get any more. Anyway, the Kelborn Woolens I took all of what they, I guess I got 2 of those blues. I don't even remember doing that. I do not remember doing that. So I've got a, what's that color? Like safety yellow, and then I got these 2 blue. Anyway, the Kelburn woolens, I got 5 little micro hanks. These are 49 yards each. And they are superwash, alpaca, and nylon blend. So we got a bubblegum pink. We got 2 yellows. We got like a aqua and a teal. These were $2 a piece, or $1.60 after the discount. I got all of what they had. I did not get all of what they had of this, but there was more. So I got those, and my son brought me some that he bought. And then they had some, people struggle with this brand name, Scapies Katona. I have some Katona in dark brown, and this is like a seafoam green. I don't work much with cotton, but I thought, you know, this is really a pretty color. It's like a 2-weight cotton, 50 grams, 125 meters. Take this price tag off. It's mercerized cotton. It does say mercerized cotton. Let's see, put that back there. Anyway, I decided to get one. They had a lot of cotton. They even had Hobie cotton. Hobie cotton. If any of y'all are interested in Hobie cotton, hit me up. Maybe I'll go and get it for you and I can ship it to you. They had quite a few of the little like 8-4 cotton. Quite a bit of it. But I don't want to, I'm not going to grow my cotton collection. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking of selling all of my cotton because I'm just not drawn to it. I'm not drawn to it. So if I sell any more, soon it's going to be cotton. So anyway, that is my haul from Cargo Largo. Quite a bit of little micro minis. I don't know what I'll make with it, but I'm happy to have it. This fancy fiber snob, shall I say, likes her silk. I do. So that is it for my Black Friday stuff. That's it for my Black Friday stuff. So, on a personal note, going back to talking about knitcraft, I happened to run into a fellow YouTube creator. Her name is Chelle. Her channel is called Hanging by a Thin Thread. And I discovered her. I don't even know how I discovered her, but I did a while back. And when I first watched her, I knew she was in the Kansas City area, but for some reason I thought she was on the Kansas side instead of the Missouri side. And then in another video I watched, she mentioned, she may have mentioned Independence, which is where I am. So anyway, I started watching her and following her videos, and I saw that she was part of a crochet knit craft group that I belong to in my area. I saw she was a member of that, so I thought, wow, perhaps maybe someday we'll be able to meet each other. So she's very familiar with knitcraft, and I just learned yesterday after watching her video that that's where she learned to knit back in the early 2000s. I didn't know that. So she was aware of knitcraft before I was. Of course, I didn't get into the fiber arts till 2022. And at that time I was living north of here. So, it was a little more of a commute for me, but it's yarn. I'm going to commute. I don't care. So anyway, I had commented on something, I think, or did I text her? Because we exchanged numbers not too long ago. And I asked her, if she's planning on going. And I just assumed she was. I didn't get a reply back right away. So I was there early, and I'm looking at the yarns, and next thing I know, there she was. She walked in. There she was. And I didn't bother her right away. I was just walking around doing my own shopping. And then I saw that she was standing near the shawl, this shawl that was on display. She was standing near there, and she was talking to somebody. And in the lull of their conversation, I said, "Chelle?" She turned around. I said, "I'm Donna." And we hugged, and we chatted, and we browsed the yarn together. And we were both admiring this shawl. And so we both got a pattern. She's going to make hers someday. I don't know when. And we chatted, and we just had a great time. Met her friend Carolyn. And Carolyn, if you're watching, hi. So, yeah, I hope to get to see her more often. There's a group that meets at a restaurant not far from me. And it turns out they meet on the Sundays opposite of the Sundays that I go to Kearney, which is the town north of me, every other Sunday. So through December and January, I know those dates don't conflict. So provided the weather is good, I am planning on checking out that group at that local establishment. So that should be fun. And, it'll get me out of the house, once a week instead of every 2 weeks. And I get to meet with fellow knitters. This group is primarily knitting. So that'll be fun. Maybe I'll get to learn cables. I would like to learn cables. And yeah, that was a really nice time getting to meet her and her friend and come home with some beautiful yarn. She had way more restraint than I did. She's trying to, I guess, keep her stash a little more manageable. Mine is beyond manageable. Mine is so unmanageable, and I need to do something about it again. I have sold some yarn recently, so I'm going to keep that momentum going, and we'll see where that goes. If it doesn't give me joy, it's out of here. And I'm realizing that a lot of it doesn't give me joy, including my cotton. The Pima cotton I want to keep. If it's really nice, soft cotton, I want to keep it. But all the other cotton I think's out of here. So we're coming up on an hour, you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and put an end to this video. I want to thank each and every one of you. If you stayed this long, thank you so much. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for joining me here. I am 22 away from hitting my 1,000 subscribers. I know I don't provide a lot of content, and that's why my numbers aren't so great. But you know what? I just do this for the fun of it. If I don't make it to 1,000, or if I don't get monetized, it doesn't bother me. But it would be nice to hit 1,000. My watch hours So, if I get there, I get there. If I don't, it's not the most important thing to me. Knitting and God are the most important to me and my family. Not in that order, of course. God is the most important thing to me above everything. And I hope that he is important to you as well. In this day and age, we need to be closer to him. Truly, we need to be closer to him. And that means having a relationship with him. It's really not enough to just believe, you guys. You got to have a relationship with him and accept the free gift of I'm having a blank. The free gift of salvation. I was going to say saviorship. Free gift of salvation, which is offered to you by the blood of Jesus, who died on the cross so that we all would be forgiven of unforgivable sins. So I hope that you are on your journey as well. And if you're not, he still loves you. God loves you. And he wants you in heaven with him for eternity. He loves each and every one of you. So I hope that you will come to Christ and believe and repent, and he will change you. He's changed me. He has so changed me. But that's for another video. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I didn't even talk about that, but that's okay. We've got Christmas coming. Just keep the Lord close always, but mostly in the month that we celebrate his birth. And treat others the way that you think Jesus would treat them. Love the unlovable. That's hard to do, but we have to love the unlovable and have grace for each other. So until next time, you guys take care and stay well and stay safe and healthy. And I will see you on the next video. Till then, bye for now. Love y'all.